Hello, and welcome to the Meditation Movement podcast with the British School of Meditation.
In this podcast, we will share all things meditation, including showcasing the wonderful work that our register of meditation teachers are doing all over the country and further afield in helping so many people benefit from this amazing practice.
Meditation and community are our two biggest passions, and we can't wait to share them both with you in this space.
So sit back, relax, maybe even close your eyes, and don't forget to breathe. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello, and welcome to the British School of Meditation podcast. I'm Catherine Tomlinson, and today I'm joined by John Atwood, one of our graduates and register members. So hello, John. It's lovely to be with you today.
Hi there, good to be here.
Oh, great. So firstly, I just absolutely love the photo on your website of you with your dog. Now, just tell me, did you get matching trousers to match the colour of your dog? It's the most wonderful picture.
I did, yeah. It's a little sad, isn't it? But my wife got a pair, and then I was kind of a bit jealous. So we end up. It's a very rare occasion that we all end up walking in them together in our ginger trousers. But there is the occasional time, and you never really notice them. People start just staring at you like you're lunatics. But yeah,
I think it's wonderful. It's apart from the beautiful field and the flowers, I was like, his trousers match his dog. I think that's fantastic, John.
Good. That's the idea.
Oh, amazing. So, tell us, how did you get into meditation in the first place? What drew you to meditation?
I kind of it's a bit. I didn't. It wasn't because of advertising or anything like that. It was kind of I fell into it due to I was going through a divorce at the time, and I think I went and hung around with some friends. I basically left a job, so I had a bit of time off. I went and hung around with some friends who I think at the time I would have definitely considered woo-woo hippie types that kind of rudderless, completely rudderless. And now I kind of look at them and oh no, you got it. You're kind of switched on actually.
Oh,
It was I was struggling to sleep essentially, and they were kind of talking to me about mindfulness and all this kind of stuff. And so I read a few things, and it actually was. I just lay in bed, watching my thoughts, trying to watch where they came from, watch where they were when they existed, and then watch where they went when they left, kind of thing. And then after doing that for a while, you kind of naturally, I think you relax a little bit, and I just started falling asleep a little bit more naturally. That then kind of led naturally into, or naturally into kind of mindfulness, and I was doing mindfulness meditations for maybe a year, kind of based on. Basically based on mindfulness, stress reduction techniques. And then I was doing that whilst I was working on a boat. And then when I came ashore, I went to a meditation teacher, and he kind of started just kind of guiding me through, basic breath meditations. And I was kind of doing, there was a 15-minute Vipassana that I used to do as well.
oh yeah.
Online. And I used to do that with my wife every morning. We used to kind of sit down for 15 minutes before, I think after breakfast, but not before work, and then we just kind of sit and meditate together, and then set off on our day.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That you found something, but also that you were practicing with your wife. It must have been a really magical time, actually.
Yeah, it was quite nice where we were living as well, because we were living on the side of a hill, so we had a big French door. So we basically kind of sit in the living room, and then I think I've always meditated with my eyes open.
Yeah.
So you're kind of, when you're gazing just into nature, or just into the far distance, it seems to be a lot easier, doesn't it? Rather than when you're in a room, and if you've got your eyes open and your gaze, it will automatically latch onto something, won't it? So you kind of
Yes.
a bit of distraction when you're sat there. So
It
it's
sort
quite
of
nice.
starts up the thoughts again, potentially, about whatever it is. But,
Yeah,
it's the power of nature as well, isn't it? Just looking out into
yeah,
nature, and it's got
yeah,
a
and
power there.
and because we used to do it first thing in the morning every day as well, you kind of instantly have a kind of connection to that day. I think a little bit. You kind of
Yeah.
you're there, kind of looking out into what the world's doing right then and there, rather than kind of busying yourself in your thoughts. And then,
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. Yes, I can see that totally, kind of really in the present, connecting you with that moment, but then that
yeah,
day
yeah,
ahead. Yeah, wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful.
But
So,
then, yeah, that kind of, yeah, then that kind of led into, yeah, more meditations, I guess. And
mm,
then, yeah,
no,
anyway.
wonderful. Oh, no, that's terrific. Thank you.
Mhm.
So, so then obviously at some point you enrolled with the British School of Meditation. I think it was in 2023, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2023, something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember what year is it now. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, it'd have been September 2023, I guess. I
Yeah,
think it started in October.
yeah.
Yeah, and then
So,
finished in April this year.
so why did you decide to train with the British School of Meditation?
Um, Specifically the British School of
Yeah,
Meditation, or um, I had actually looked at another training provider beforehand, and they'd actually kind of said, well, you need to do this course, and this course, and this course, and they were quite strict about what you would, and what they expected you to be teaching afterwards as well.
mm,
So then when I found the British School of Meditation online, it was just through a Google search. I kind of looked and it was like, it's less prescriptive, and then at the same time, you learn an awful lot of meditations.
yeah,
Um, so it was kind of gave me the freedom that I thought I would enjoy when teaching people, basically, not trying to teach people one way, saying, well, hang on a sec, there's lots of different people, they need lots of different ways
yeah,
of thought. So
yeah.
yeah, a bit of a range helps everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. That sort of freedom and openness to meet people at whatever where they need. And there must have been a
Yeah.
point actually between, your own practice of meditation and then deciding to train. There must have been some motivation to want to learn to train to give meditation to other people.
Yeah.
What was that?
I think, see, you kind of see, I don't know how, you're trying to see the benefit, basically, don't you?
Yeah,
You feel the benefit yourself,
yeah,
and you see what it can give to people. And then you kind of I couldn't not want to teach people the same thing. But one of my biggest problems is not wanting to be too evangelical about it as well, because
yes,
there's no, like, I kind of want to run around and go, I know a cure for that. I know a cure for that. I know a cure for that. But it's not really what people want to hear, is it?
yeah,
So yeah, you see people struggling in their lives, and you kind of like, oh, I know that if you just sat down for 5 minutes every day and
yeah,
just nothing, essentially, if you just focused
yeah,
on your breath for 5 minutes, then you'd start to see a little bit more clearly. Or
yeah,
so it's kind of like, yeah, it's just kind of wanting to help others, I think.
yeah,
Um, because it is, yes. And I think it's interesting for me as well, because kind of coming from a Buddhist background, which is where I ended up, you kind of read all these texts and all these books from Buddhism. And then I think I've almost finished Altered Traits by Daniel Goldman and Richie
yeah,
Davis.
yeah,
And you read that and you're like, wow, like these guys 2,500 years ago knew what they were doing. And for
mm,
whatever reason, because we've all gone now science, 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 it kind
mm,
of got pushed aside.
yes, yeah.
And now again, it's kind of coming back to
It's
the
coming back
fore
round.
again,
Yeah.
as a result of what pushed it aside in the first place. So I kind of, yeah, it's kind of trying to, yeah, I just basically want to try and help as many people as possible.
And you mentioned on your website actually, I think that you saw that, you know, material goods didn't necessarily bring you happiness, and that that's what you want to bring to other people, is this sort of um
Well, just yeah, kind of inner, something not, yeah, you're not requiring things from the outside to make you happy. The happiness is it's actually innate and on the inside at all times, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of as a result of the divorce and all that kind of
Mm,
stuff. It was actually but prior to that, I had quite a well-paid job and could buy pretty much whatever, it was comfortable, basically.
yeah.
I kind of came away from that, moved ashore, and I got paid a substantial amount less. And then I realized that nothing had actually changed as far as happiness was concerned. If anything, my life had become simpler and I'd become happier at the
Yes.
same
Yes.
time. I'm not saying a renouncant kind of lifestyle is the best thing to possibly do, but at the same time, it was kind of like, oh, I didn't need that flash car and I didn't need
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. It's actually not really necessary at all. You can kind of, they're things you think you need, or you're being told you need, or
Yes.
whatever. And
Yes.
actually,
Yeah.
you actually need very little, but
Yeah.
that's maybe
Yeah. No,
a whole
absolutely.
subject in itself, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is really, isn't it? Yeah. No, I love that. Happiness is sort of on the inside, it's not on the outside.
Yeah, and
Mm.
it's you kind of depending on what you've it depends on who you listen to, what you're reading, and I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of see it as soon as you step outside of that and start looking, you realize that I don't know. I tend to realize is that the people who are telling you need the stuff to be happy are the people who are benefiting from you buying the stuff, and it's very obvious. And when you start looking around a little bit, you kind of look at it and you're like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Yeah. No, beautifully put. Yeah. So you've spoken a little bit there about your motivations for becoming a meditation teacher or being the conduit, if you like, to bring more people to that inner happiness or you know help them in some way. Did you have anyone in particular in mind that you wanted to support or help?
My wife always asks me this because she's a business coach, and she says you need to find a niche. You need to find a niche, and I kind of like, well, they've got a pulse. Is
Yeah.
is that good enough of a niche? And I'm told it's not.
Oh, maybe not from a business coach point of view, but I love that.
But that's pretty much it. If somebody comes to me and I can help them, that would make me very happy indeed, as it were,
Yeah, yeah,
from an outside source.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's now I work in an office an awful lot, and I get quite stressed at work, or I tend to get quite stressed at work,
Yeah.
or a lot of pressure gets put me to get stressed on work. I don't always get stressed, and I think some people think I should be getting stressed, but I'm not.
Yeah,
But
you're not performing and achieving unless you're feeling stressed,
exactly,
John.
unless you're running around like your hair's on fire, you're not doing
Yeah.
well. And that's so I always see people in those kind of situations, like in the office when they're getting, there was a lad that I used to work with in my last job, and he took everything very, very personally, and he took it all
Mm,
in, and you could see very quickly he'd get very overwhelmed.
mm.
And I'd kind of have to kind of say to him, like, it's okay. Don't like try and calm him, relax him a little bit. But I tried to suggest meditation. It didn't go down well. He was quite a tough lad from Glasgow. So
Right.
I'm sure there is a way in. I just didn't find it
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
time.
yep.
um, so yeah, I kind of see people in those situations, and I do. So kind of, I'd like to do kind of corporate stuff,
Mm,
but it's, um, yeah. Just
yeah.
basically getting people to relax.
Yes, yes.
Essentially,
Yeah,
is what
yeah, yeah.
anybody.
And maybe you'll find a way in at where you are at the moment, just offering something. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, well,
ability.
I'm actually in between jobs at the moment, so I'm moving to I'm going back to a place where I used to work before, and they actually offer fitness classes and yoga and all this kind of stuff
Ah,
for free to the employees.
yeah,
So one of the things it was actually one of the things that I did as we had to choose two locations, don't we?
that's
When we
right.
do,
Yes.
yeah. One of the locations I chose was the hospitality suite at the place that I'm going to be working, and I was going to say I want to try and do a group session every, I don't know, Friday or Thursday or something
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
after work, so everyone can, just a half hour or
yeah,
something.
lovely. So having done the business section of the course and chosen that venue, you'll be well set up to know.
Yeah, it was quite, yeah, and at the same time, I was trying to work out what I should do, whether it should be a 5 week course kind of thing, or just a kind of people come and how are we doing today? Right, let's have a, you
Yeah,
know, And it's kind of, I think if I was going to do it ongoing, rather than saying it's a 5 week course and then shipping those people out of the door kind of thing, on in my own place of work, I'd rather do it as a
Yeah.
kind of let's see how we are on the day kind of thing.
Yes, yes. And you might find that those people then want to sign up to a sort of more in-depth
Yeah,
intermediary class or something. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I think that's kind of what that was my idea.
yeah.
I've got
So
lots
you
of
spoke,
ideas.
sorry.
Lots of ideas. I just haven't
Yeah.
done any of them yet.
Well, we'll get on to that.
Yeah.
So we've touched on the business element of the course there. Were there any other specific parts of the course that really resonated with you or that you enjoyed the most?
Yeah, so I think that's kind of just said earlier. I kind of come from most of my meditation has kind of drifted from like the MBSR kind of stuff into Buddhism, and that's my kind of meditation is based around that. And then so it was good to do the course because that kind of brought me back out of that onto the back into a more secular
Yeah,
setting, and it was kind of like, oh, these are actually it's actually a few more meditations than what you're just kind of you're kind of plugging away at. So it was really nice to see that, and then it was also nice to do those meditations and still be doing my own meditations that I've kind of been doing for the last however many years, and then cover the science of it and be like, oh right, so it isn't, you know, yes, a lama's said to do this, but at the same time, some guys in America have attached a monk to an EEG, and then they've gone, it's actually doing real work in there. So
yeah, you
it's
can
quite nice to do
visibly see
science stuff
it.
as
Yeah,
well, which I never, I genuinely didn't think I was going to enjoy the science bit as well, because it was kind of, it was almost, I thought at the time, I was like, it's almost like anti what I've been taught. Like I've been taught that, doing Buddhism, you kind of taught everything's experience. And then, so to do a science thing, it's like, I felt it was kind of like deadening it a little bit.
yeah,
It almost did the opposite. It was almost like, oh wow, so that's what mantra does, and that's what loving kindness does, and that's what. So it was actually really good to do that. And then I think the other thing I actually really enjoyed was it was quite nice having a little kind of community as well. Like
yes,
every Tuesday evening, it was quite nice to just have everyone's faces pop up and see the same people, and kind of
yes,
going into the breakout rooms and having a bit of a natter.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I understand what you mean about the science part of it. I have to say, when I did the course myself back in 2020, I was dreading the science part, A, because I'm not a scientist, and like you, I've been meditating for a long time, and it's about, how you feel, but also then going beyond that to not feeling in a way,
yeah,
just experiencing and not attaching things to that. Um, and so the double whammy of, oh, now they're going to try and prove it, and then the whole science, the brain,
yeah,
this, I was like, oh no. But actually, it was the thing that fired me up as well. I thought this
yeah,
is incredible because it was actually scientific evidence that supports the benefits of meditation. And even if
yeah,
you never use it again in your own teaching, somehow it's ignited something in you.
yeah. And I think the one thing that I kind of took from it as well was I think Catherine kind of pointed out again and again, or not maybe not again and again, maybe, but pointed out that it's actually useful to be able to like the world we live in now.
Yes,
This might actually be a way to pull people in, and
yes,
that's when I was like, well, hold on a sec. Then if I'm saying I want to try and benefit as many people as I can,
yeah,
and this is a way to get people in to then help them, benefit them,
yeah,
um, then why wouldn't I use it?
yeah,
So why wouldn't I want to learn it? And if I can, so for my example, my sister's got a PhD in microbiology, and
yes.
trying to give her some kind of what she would kind of consider woo-woo kind of reasons as to why to meditate probably wouldn't work. But if I kind
No,
of came up and said, well, look, it does this to your brain, you
yes,
should probably enjoy that a bit more.
yes, it's that sort of hook, isn't it, in for people. And I think, yeah, it gives people maybe a bit more, well, certain people, a bit more confidence in
Yeah.
it. Yeah, no. That's lovely.
But it was like, I agree with what you say. It's yeah, you kind of sit there and you meditate, and it seemed previously, I was very close-minded to it, and it seemed like it was you were putting a concept on something that 100% didn't need a concept kind of thing
Yes.
in my head. But
That's a much better way of expressing it than how I did. But yes, it's almost like you're putting something on it. But
yeah, you're kind of applying some. It's unnecessary when you're sat there,
yes.
meditating or kind of experiencing whatever's experiencing. You don't really need to have a oh my amygdala must have calmed right down right now kind of thing. It doesn't. But then it doesn't make a difference to the actual meditation you do, does it? I don't think. I don't think I've ever had that thought up until now.
No, probably always have it now. Yeah, no, that was beautifully expressed. So you've mentioned that you've been traveling recently, uh,
Uh,
and living abroad. I think you were in Spain, weren't you?
I'm in Spain at the moment.
Oh, you're in Spain now. How lovely.
I'm in
So you're
Spain at the
missing
moment.
Storm Dara.
Well, yeah, but we had it. I'm just up the. Well, I'm 3 hours up the coast from Valencia, but down from Tarragona, and Tarragona got hit pretty hard a few months ago,
Oh
a
gosh.
few weeks ago. So yeah, there was floods there.
Yeah.
Not as bad as Valencia,
Yeah.
but no, I'm
Um,
kind of yeah, I'm in Spain. I've been there for 3 months now, I think.
so do you find that when you're away from what, let me say, normal routine like home or Cornwall or wherever it is you are,
Yeah.
um, do you find that your meditation practice while you're away is different? Do you find you use different methods when you're away, or is it do you use the same sort of meditations wherever you are?
Um, I've not really thought about it too much, but so when I was doing the course, I was in my last job, and that job included me. I was probably traveling at least once a month abroad to either Italy or France or
Mm.
Spain or something. Um, so I was doing that, and the first course I did, I was actually in a hotel in the first week, the first actual session we did. I was in a hotel in Italy somewhere. The next one I did, I was in a hotel in Jersey. I think the next one I was in France or something like that. So it's always kind of
Oh
so,
golly.
yeah. But I think um, I think I got into a kind of routine because I was traveling so much. I kind of got into a routine for that anyway. So I'd kind of travel and then I'd get somewhere. I got there late at night. I'd kind of do like a gentle yoga and then maybe um, you know I always found that trying to focus on my breath after travel was always quite hard work, kind of
Yeah.
whether because I was anxious or something like that anyway. So I'd do a mantra meditation or something like that, and then I tended to find that I just ended up getting with another routine, probably is no good.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Um, and then after the first day, I'd kind of wake up and knowing that I was going to be doing long days at work, I'd kind of get as much meditation in the first thing in the morning, and then try a little bit in the evening, and yeah, so it does change. I mean, at the moment now I'm traveling. I've been in Spain for 3 months, and then I've been working on a boat in a marina, and that's basically I kind of wake up and I meditate before breakfast. Then I meditate at lunchtime because I've got an hour lunchtime, so I actually go and sit on a beach and
Oh,
just kind
how
of.
lovely.
So yeah, I'm struggling on.
Yeah. You're making us, feel
And
really sorry for you.
yeah, and then normally do a little bit at home and yeah, and just kind of before bed as well.
Mm,
So
mm.
and that's kind of one thing that I was saying earlier, kind of well, saying who do you want to teach? I think the quite important with well, I feel anyway, is that it's integration and trying to make sure I've never been one for sitting down and kind of doing marathon
Yeah.
meditation sessions. So I'll
Yeah.
literally sit here, and my wife will make a coffee, and I'll meditate in the lounge for the time that it takes to get the coffee made and brought to me. It's a
Yeah.
bit selfish of me, isn't it?
No, I think that's wonderful. I think that, a couple of things there to that resonated with me is just you're describing really how valuable it is to have different types of meditation. It may be that, at some points, you find breath anchoring, but then, when you're traveling, sometimes if there's a bit of anxiety, it's not, you don't really want to go there to the breath or do a breath meditation. So you can choose a different sort of meditation. Um, So I think that's interesting. I also think that what you're describing, it sounds like, is you obviously have a very regular practice of meditation, but then you use meditation in various ways throughout your day in those, I mean, what they would call pause moments or stealth meditations. And that's really then integrating meditation into your whole life. I think that's beautiful.
Well, I think it's yeah. I can't remember who it was who said it to me years ago, and they were kind of like, well, "What's the if you can do an hour's long worth of meditation?" I mean, in fact, no, it was Mingyur Rinpoche, and I think
Yeah.
it's in the Joy of Living,
Yeah.
which I kind of think is quite a nice accompaniment to Altered Traits. It's kind of
Yes.
like it's quite nice. It's actually what made me go and read that, I think. And he kind of said, a sniper is mindful,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like so there's no point in being in doing your meditation and then going and doing something else, like
Yeah.
completely the complete opposite of your meditation and saying, no, I've done my meditation. Now I'm off to do something else entirely. That's a different part of my life.
Yeah.
And one of my teachers is always kind of saying, like, no, do kind of 20 short meditations in a day. Like
Yeah.
it's going to help you a lot more than sitting down for an hour at the beginning.
Yeah.
And all that tells you is how you are when you do your hour of meditation. It doesn't tell you how you are when someone's cut you up at the lights.
Yeah.
Meditate then.
Yeah,
Kind of
exactly. Exactly. That's fantastic. Yeah, beautiful.
it's kind of yeah, it's hard without having originally done the longer meditations to see the benefit of that. I suppose it's kind of a natural path into kind of spreading it through your life, isn't it? You kind
I
of
think that's I would agree with that. I think, that having that regular practice is important because it actually is a training, but then taking that and doing, as you just described, a sniper is mindful. What do you do when someone cuts you up at the lights?
yeah.
How are you walking down the road? Are you mindful or are you not mindful? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, brilliant. So tell us a little bit about your plans for setting up your business. Maybe when you get back from Spain, what are your plans? So maybe going into the office,
Yeah.
into work,
Well,
but have you got any sort of plans yet?
well, I kind of come up with a heap more excuses for not doing it is probably no. So yeah, I kind of no, I was kind of saying earlier, I've kind of gone from one job to another job, and then in the meantime, I've gone to Spain for 3 months to
Yeah.
do a little bit of freelance work. So I've always kind of been saying, oh yeah, no, I'll do it when we get to the next place. So the idea is get to Cornwall.
Mm.
Um, We've got a room that we kind of, at the moment, as an interim, we're going to get a room kind of set up in the house. That means we can kind of have this kind of off the house a little bit and have that
Yeah.
set up as a, place where I can do one-to-one meditations.
Yeah.
Um, and then I kind of toy with the idea of doing a group class, but Cornwall's Cornwall's quite overrun, if I'm going to be honest, with meditation teachers, yoga teachers.
Mm.
We're kind of we're chock full of people like that, so it's kind of having to differentiate yourself
Yes.
from others. It's kind of saturated um, with us hippies, basically. Trying to make everyone's lives a bit easier.
Oh,
But so I kind of do want to do courses, but so I started looking at doing. I've actually started writing it up, an
yeah.
online course.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Um, and yeah, trying to work out how to get people to do that, because one of the things that I'm always aware of is how, like I said, time poor, I think
Yeah.
was the phrase of saying it. It's like, oh, come and see me for an hour to do meditation. Like trying to sell that to somebody who isn't already hooked
Yes.
is actually,
Yes.
I would imagine, quite tricky. So
Yeah.
it's kind of what I'm trying to do is do a course which follows the 5 week program that I'd written up for my coursework,
Yes.
and then trying to do little 10-minute modules within that.
Yeah.
So there's like 10 minutes on, the science, or 10 minutes on breath, or 10, and do little 10-minute meditations in
Yeah.
there as well, and kind of break it all down so that someone can just, if they're on the train or something, they can just
It just come on for 10
yeah,
minutes. Yeah.
log in and just do 10 minutes and then
Yeah. And then as it were, it's that hook in, isn't it? And then
yeah.
support them. Yeah.
Some of the first meditation teacher I went to in real life said, he said, well, people need to be right, was
Yes.
kind of, and um, he was kind of talking about Dharma, but it's the same thing, I think, isn't it? Someone needs to be ready to
Mm.
go, oh, hang on a sec, these people might be onto something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't need to be, I don't need to be in this state at all times.
Yes.
And this might
Yes,
be a
I
way
think
of curing it.
yes,
Curing?
I think that's true. But I also, just listening, I also feel, I mean, I love your idea of this sort of breaking it up into 10 minutes so that time poor people, and also putting it out there, because also these people who are ripe, unless you're out there with your
Yeah.
course or your room, they're not gonna, they might fall and be rotten on the floor. They might be overripe.
Yeah. No,
So,
I need to get cracking. And
so be good to catch them, wouldn't it? And I love your idea of the 10 minutes. I think that's great.
well,
Yeah.
we'll see. See how it goes.
Yeah.
I've written up all the slides and everything. I just need to start recording it next, I think.
Fantastic.
And then yeah, just if it's an online course, then you kind of almost don't need to worry too much about how much you charge for it as well, which is quite nice because
Yes.
you're not it's a passive income anyway. You kind of, even if I'd spent, if 10 people in the entire time that it existed signed up for it, then
Yeah. Yeah.
you'd be okay, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, the business side of it is quite, because I've always been employed, so it's quite
Yes.
it's a bit.
Yes.
My wife has always been self-employed, so she's always kind of sat there going, "Well, just do it. What's wrong with you?" Like,
Oh well, got a perfect combination then. I've got your wife behind
might be
you.
a bit more compassionate than that.
Yeah. Oh, John, it's been absolutely wonderful chatting to you. And we wish you all the best for your rest of your time in Spain and for getting back to Cornwall and for the launch of your courses or
Yeah,
your meditations for people. I think you've got a tremendous amount to offer. Um, and
hopefully.
you're obviously passionate about meditation yourself, and that's
Yeah,
you know the first step
it's
really.
hard not to be, isn't it? I
It
think
is
once.
hard not to be. It is hard not to be. Yeah. So thanks for chatting with me today. It's been lovely to catch up, and I look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Brilliant. Thank you for
Take
having
care,
me.
John. Thanks. Bye.